Hello, friends, and welcome to 10 Points Under, where hexagons are the bestagons. This is Big a Bullfrog, and joining me today for a really special episode, first time we're trying something like this on the channel, is Superfrog. Welcome, Superfrog. Super excited to have you.
Hey, it's super to be here. Ha 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 ha.
I like it.
Man,
I appreciate
man.
that. So, we are today running with an idea that Superfrog had I don't know, a little while ago. Basically, I started a thread on Heroscapers. I was curious in the map creation process from map designers, just as I've been going through maps and man, that looks really cool. That never comes up to me, especially Superfrog maps, because he's got a very distinctive style. And I'll look at them and I'm like, that's cool. And not to say my maps are terrible, I don't think my maps are the best thing ever, but they're just very different from Superfrog's maps. And man, that kind of style, I don't know, that kind of aesthetic never really comes up for me. So that thread I started was kind of more general, and Superfrog offered to take us through his map making process. So that's why we're here today.
Yeah, so I think about last year, I was in a Zoom meeting. We were doing some professional development at school, and I was just not feeling it. And I pulled up Virtualscape, and I just started, putting some stuff together. I think that one that I put together, I called it Turmoil after, what I was feeling. That ended up being one of our ScapeCon maps this last year, which was cool. But about ever since then, I really just like to open up Virtualscape and just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And oftentimes I'll just post screenshots of, hey, I made this, hey, I made this, hey, I made this in the Discord, which is, so some of them are fine and some of them are great, and I pursue further and try to refine. But it was just interesting when I saw this thread. I was like, I've never really thought about how I make maps, but whenever I pull up Virtualscape and I'm, slapping stuff together, I have a mental checklist, and there's kind of a direction that I flow in. And then even a couple weeks ago, I put together a blog post about, I called it 10 tips to make your maps not suck. And I'm sure that'll be linked down in the description.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just put together 10 things that I think help make a map work, at least my maps. So I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but these are things that I try to do as far as, level 4 is usually where I have my highest height. It just seems to work out better for me that way. Some tips about where I put my jungle pieces and my shadow pieces and how I design my start zones. And then what I think about pathing and what that generally looks like. And then hopefully we can see some of how I like to do aesthetics. Well, I don't know my sets for today yet, but
Yeah.
that's always interesting as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be surprising him with the sets here in a little bit. So this will be totally on the fly, totally improvised. No, we did not script this. This is not scripted. Maybe that'll be the clickbait thumbnail that I'll put on this is unscripted map building. But yeah, let's see. Is there anything else you want to hit before we jump into this, or do you want to get your sets and go at it?
I think I just want to get my sets and start going and see what we got.
All right, sweet. Okay, so I'm really excited for the set combo too, because this is a set combination that when I've been putting we've got our Utah monthlies, and whenever I'm building the map pool, I just wish there was a map that fit this set combination. So that's why I picked it.
No.
So this will be one Swarm of the Morrow master set with 2 expansions. Those 2 expansions being 1 Road to the Forgotten Forest and 1 Thinglik Tundra.
Okay, so you said Swarm of the Morrow.
Oh wait, hang on. I didn't know you could do this.
Yeah, and then Glacier and Road. That's what you said?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, if you don't know this, you can go available material, and then you can just click whatever sets you have. So they call the road set Forest, and then Glacier and Swarm Morrow. There you go.
That's crazy. I can't believe I never knew that was a button. That's super helpful.
So it is super helpful. So let's see. I probably want to be slightly more zoomed. in. 1.8 is usually a little better. Okay. So interesting. So generally what I start with is just looking at what I have available. So uh, you got a bunch of sand. And my first thought is sand makes good start zones, even with just a swarm set. Not complete start zones, but it makes a good start. We got all our swarm stuff. These are going to be the only 24 hexes that I have available. Man, if you take the snow, what I think is difficult about snow, I was talking about this a couple days ago, is that the twos and the ones are just a little tricky to work with. Hard to
Hmm.
support, and they don't span very much. So, but having those line of sight blockers is going to be very helpful. And then of course we have road. Okay. So generally how I'll start is I'll sketch out one start zone. So I'll go ahead and do my sand start zone. Um, and right away you see there's 5 sands of the 7 hexes, and there's and that's not quite 6, right? So it like doesn't quite get there, right? You
That
can't
is
do this.
correct. That is not quite 6.
So um, so um, there are the 2 3 hexes. So what I like to do is um, if you stick a 1 hex in the corner of a 7 hex, then we can mirror that 7 hex with a 3 3 2. So now we have almost done start zones um, that just used all of our sand. I just need 2 more because it's 7 7 and 8, which is 22. So I need 2 more. For now, I'm going to slap in some water in the front, and my start zones are always flexible when I start, but it just gives me helpful thoughts of like, what do I actually have available to me? And I don't want to use that sand up and then like in the middle of the map and then try to come back to it later.
Hmm.
And the placement of start zones also not very important at this point. Um, they could get closer together, probably not farther apart at this point, but we'll kind of see. And maybe I'll put ice in my start zone. Maybe I'll shift some of the placement around, but I generally start with something like. And then at this point, we're going to go road. So road is interesting because road is not a perfectly symmetrical set. So you got an even number of 2s and an even number of 1s. And then you have 4 trees. And that's all symmetrical. But what's asymmetrical about this is that the 4 hex tree and then the 5 hex road. So generally, what I like to do is make the 5 hex road, or sometimes what I like to do is make the 5 hex road be across the middle of the map. So I think I'm going to try that in this case as well. So I'm going to just sketch out um, a possible road shape starting at the bottom start zone. And um, I'm not going to be too married to this, but I just like to have a sense for where the road could be going. And it looks like in this case, my road's going to be going vaguely, uh, vaguely diagonal, and that's fine. Sometimes it happens. And then I'll bring in my 5 hex, and just based on size of the map, I'll think about where I want it to go. And I actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think I want my whole map, the whole road, to shift over. So
Can I just say really quick while you're doing that, you're giving me some serious Bob Ross vibes right now with talking about sketching out
happy,
your landscape and
happy little road
yeah,
there.
your happy little road, and hey, it looks like it's going this way. That's okay. Sometimes that happens.
And this is like semi on purpose and semi not on purpose. Oh, I just said that and I thought it was going to be something, but it's not. Look, I thought it was a 24 hex, but it's an inverse 24 hex, which doesn't exist. That's okay. We can still work with it. So I think I'm actually going to flatten this road out a little more than it is, something like this, and then we'll curl back this way, maybe. I don't know. Again, this is all going to be up for um, uh, up for change if I need to. So nope, that's too flat. So we're coming back. So what I'm thinking about at this point is how far do I want my start zones to be apart from each other? And if I know that this 5 hex road is going to be the middle of my map, then that's going to kind of tell me how far apart my start zones are. So now I'm just going to mirror that road that I got there. So we're just bringing our 2s and 1s back. And you can stop me if I um, do my mirroring incorrectly. Usually at some point, I look at my map and I'm like, what did I do there? And then I realized that I forgot to mirror things correctly. So
There's one spot where you just got a little. You're on the left side. Your farthest road hexes went the wrong way.
did they go the wrong? See that yeah. See, I do that. That's usually that's my biggest or most common mistake. Is this now mirrored correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like it's mirrored? Yes. Okay. Cool. So and I'll go ahead and now just shift everything over in my start zone so it matches up at the right point, which is sometimes a little harder than it looks for some reason. Okay. And again, this is subject to change. I'm even thinking about this, like these guys out here, they might end up floating back towards the start zone at some point. And some of this road will probably go to level 2 in addition, but at this point, I'm just going to sketch out the shape because that'll tell me kind of how this map is going to go. So at this point, let's talk about our line of sight blockers. So we got the 6, and the 6 is going to be mirrored by the hive. And I don't usually pull these out like this, but just to show them, those are going to mirror each other, or they can. And then we got the 4 can be mirrored by the we can mirror it with the 3 and the 1. That's one way to do it. And then we also have 1 and 1. You can also use the 4 to mirror the tree, the big tree, and then work with that. So there's a couple different options here as far as line of sight blockers go. But I think I'll go ahead and place in my big line of sight blockers. Just feel like here looks good. And actually, immediately when I do that, I notice that it might create an issue because this to me looks like a 7 hex, but now I can't fit that here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And otherwise, that space will be hard to fill. So maybe I want to put my 7 hex here, which is fine. It would mean I'd have to rearrange my start zone a little bit. So we'll see if I decide I want to chase that down. But that's going to be where we start. So now we'll try with some 24 hexes, because if you can't fit your 24 hexes, then you're really stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like my 24 hexes are going to fit pretty well right here. That's actually very nice. So I feel like I got lucky there. And just to fill in, we'll do brass and rock down here. I think for this map, I'm thinking of snow being my highest elevation terrain. And because that's the case, I feel like I can bury my rock. I don't have enough rock to make it a focal point. So anything in there is pretty much going to be buried. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and fill in with some 7s. So 7s, maybe 7s here, 7s here. And now all of a sudden it's kind of looking like a map, right? And now we got 3s, 3s. And the annoying thing about working with Swarm of the Morrow is that it has just so few like threes, twos, and ones
Right.
just available to you. So um, the nice thing about having the Tundra with it is that I do have some line of sight blockers that I can plug in to some of those holes. So I plug in those. Maybe some. Maybe I'll do the actual swamp here and here, and not so sure about right in front of the start zone. So I'm gonna put some swamp water there. I might come back to that. But this is a level one, just a draft of level one. And again, I might try to raise that center road. Um, so why not? We're gonna do that right now. And again, I might need those swamps later, but for now, we're gonna call this okay. So now I got my road shape kind of built out, and let's just check what I have left. So I got 4 swamp 7s. I have a rock 7. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'm gonna be able to use my rock 7 very effectively in this build. So I'm not
That's a tough one.
sure about that. Yeah, I like to either bury it, a mirror of sand, or just depending on how it works. But
Hmm.
I don't think it's gonna work out here. So I also have to think about um, my fours as far as the four glacier and where that's going to go. Um, so I'll go ahead and put in those 7 hexes. Um, I'll just see how close we can get them into the action. Maybe here and here, here and here. That's some 7 hexes. And interesting. So now what I'm seeing is that this is really shifted left from my start zone. So if I go ahead and mark in my start zones, which are currently only 22 hexes each, but if I mark them in anyway, you see how it's pushing left
Hmm.
out of the start zone, and it's just interesting to think what I can do about that at this point, because um, there's not a lot of real estate on the right half that's not blocked by the glacier and the hive.
Right.
So that might be one of those things where I have to um, call an audible. I'm just dragging things around and see what we can do here. Um, and of course, one thing you can always do is just move your start zone. So, a little life hack. Right, what happens if I just move my
What?
start zone to be shifted up here? And let's see if I like that better, right? And you know what? I think I do. I do like that better. And if I shift my start zones up here, kind of makes the road a little like less like I intended,
Hmm.
but um, it is. Um, oh, sorry, what was I doing? That goes here. Yep. What it does do is makes my height so far a little more balanced. Um, so we'll see how that plays out. Um, mm, well, that just added some new flavor to this map.
Yeah.
So now, if I look at right now, I have to like turn my head sideways to look at this map. But the again, we can go right out of the start zone, kind of reach that road. We can go left out of the start zone, and the height is kind of between those roads. So I think one of the things I'm thinking right now is I can put maybe up on here. I'm gonna put my maybe we can put like span across here. These guys. So I'll pencil those in there. And I think it's time to start attacking with my snow. So um, remember from level 1, we have this we need to cover up. So we'll cover those. And from, we'll mirror that. And a similar thing we'll do right here. Um, we'll go ahead and put in some height right here. Notice that this is going to be accessible from the road, which is important. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think I need to add some more swamp water on the bottom, right? 2 hexes on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just to kind of fit the new shape of this map. Cool. We're making things interesting. So let's see what I have left. I got some trees left. I got some snow left, and that's about it. Okay. So most of my snow I'm going to save for level 3 and level 4. Again, that's one of the interesting things about swarm maps is I find it sometimes hard to stack all the way up to level 4. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
how that could be hard, but it sometimes is. And actually, while I'm here, let me go ahead and put some ice in the back of my start zone, just so we got the right number again. I believe this is correct now. And I always do the cyan and violet start zones. That's so if you're wondering what the super frog aesthetic is, that's that's a big part of it. So
Purple
if you
cyan
want your
looks
maps
really
to look
good.
like mine, just and I feel like on every, it's funny because terrain combinations look different. They're like the start zones appear different when they're on top of different terrain.
Mm-hmm.
So like I do it on top of sand a lot, but obviously that's not the only thing. And so sometimes, if it's on top of dungeon, I really like how that looks. That kind of thing. Okay. So now we're getting up to level 3, and I'm not sure how much past level 3 I can go. I might go ahead and slap in just like some single 1 hexes on level 4. But I'm feeling at this point like the meat of the map is there. Let's see. I can go ahead and do this and this. Is a little mirroring device,
So, quick
and then
question:
we'll
Is
put on
it?
our go for it.
I was just gonna ask: Is it intentional that you tend to group your height, like your little height locations, in threes? Because I'm noticing a lot of that, or is that just the terrain combination
No,
for
so
this?
I am doing that a lot here. I think I have two. When I get up to level 3 and level 4, I have a couple things. I think I try to avoid 7 hexes that are unencumbered. So if I have a 7 hex, I want to put something in it um, that makes it so either a ruin or a tree or an outcrop, um, or just something that breaks it up. So it's not just so easy to just one pod, and then two, you
Mm-hmm.
sometimes end up with some boring gameplay if there's just like these wide swaths of height.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
so I try to avoid that, but I don't even have any 7 hexes left. So at this point, I'm just working with what I got, which is 2s and 1s. And um, because there's the same number of 2s and 1s, and I don't like using 1s by themselves, I think I just try to use 2s next to 1s a lot of the time.
That makes
Let's
sense.
see, did I do it everywhere here?
It's like all that snow is in a three. You've got
Yeah,
those.
they're in 3s. Yeah, I have these that are 2, right? These that are 2, and then I guess they're balanced out by these that are 1.
There you
So
go.
I'm not sure I love these level 4s where they are. I like to have level 4s near ish the center. Um,
Mm-hmm.
But let me try this. Let me try just shifting over here and then moving outside. I feel like that's that's one way to do it. Okay. So now I would call this a like draft A, and I probably wouldn't do anything with this yet because I have a few things that I'm not quite happy with. So actually, at this point, I'm probably gonna pop up a 3D view. So let's see what that looks like. Come on, 3D view. Okay. And one of the things
Ooh.
I'm missing, and we said this, I said this earlier, they don't have yet is any trees. So I have 4 trees that I'm gonna put here somewhere, which should add some interesting stuff to them. I don't hate this. Um, I don't love it, but right, it's got most of what I think it should have. What I like the least about it is the start zones still, even though that's where I started, and then I changed them. I still don't like them. I think that this part of the start zone, like the back left part of each start zone, just feels too far away. So I'm gonna see what I can do to rearrange that. So I'm just gonna take everything out of the way that's like start zone related. And actually, I feel like this and this are also in my start zone real estate. And I'm just gonna see what I can do. So um, sometimes you can think about going for split start zones. Sometimes that can help. Um, so let's see if I can take advantage of that here. Um, and again, I'm not really sure. I'm just stabbing at things. So again, yeah. So maybe something like this. Cool. So now my challenge is: um, can I support this glacier? And I also realized my hive placement is not legal either. So
Oh, that's true.
I need to work at that. So this is going to go away, and I'm going to take this and level them up. So level that guy up,
Oh, dude,
and
that's
we'll
another
bring
tool I didn't
in,
know about.
yeah, totally. Um, it's pretty cool. Um, so I'll bring in, let's see, maybe something like this. Okay, so now I've ended up with like vaguely split start zones. And if I go ahead and just rearrange everything, they're actually not quite split. They're connected by a thread. And this is just to
Dude,
see
that
if I
sounds like a
like it.
great
And
map
I
name.
might by a thread,
Connected by a thread.
connected by a thread. That's kind of what's going on here. Um, so if I look at this, let's see, how do I feel about this? Um, I feel like it does still have some of that leftward push. But actually, maybe if I just, oh, I was going to do something dangerous. I was going to do this, but then that just leaves this as just a lovely railing spot.
Hmm.
Uh, but I will just rotate this way, which clears it clears the a path um, into the road without going over that speed bump. So we'll do that. Okay, so I think I like the start zone slightly better. I don't love it, and if I was trying to fight it harder, I might try to fight it harder. But now I got my glacier successfully elevated. So I'll go ahead and fill in this hole with oh an ice, just because I can, and we'll see if we can replicate that start zone over on this side. Okay, so this goes here, and then 2 of these guys, and then the 1 hex means that's the point of my 3 hex. and 2 to 3. And we got this. Oh, that's not quite right. What's off? What's off with this? Oh, everything needs to just shift down like this because we're only hanging on by a thread. I was hanging on by too much. And then there's my 7th. Genius. And somehow I have an extra swamp, but that's okay. Goodbye. Okay, interesting. So we'll swap in my start zones, and then we're gonna look at it again and just play around with that 3D view. See, hey, is it everything I want it to be and more? So this definitely does feel more like what I'm thinking about. Yeah, this is definitely something I think. Hey, that looks like a superfrog map, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't this? It now has that look to it, which
Got that
is
superfrog touch.
it's a good sign. Yeah. And again, I still like going left, but I don't think it's overly so. I got some trees to put in, so I should put those in. Back to road. I normally don't use the walls. So if you're somebody who loves walls, then today is not your day. But I'm sure some other day will be your day. So don't be too discouraged. I don't know where that came from, but it happened.
Me neither, but I like it.
Interesting. I'm trying to see a good spot. Sometimes I'll zoom, go all the way up to the top level so I can see all the obstacles at once. See, is there any place here that is like obstacle free? And there's not really any place where I think, that really needs another obstacle. I don't see that. Do you see that anywhere?
No, it's they're pretty evenly spread.
Yeah, that's what I look for. Is so I like to have like at least a 2 hex gap between them. So one thing I almost saw was like putting him like in here and in here,
Oh,
but
okay.
then right, we got the 1 hex
Oh,
gap from each
yeah.
other around that center road. So right, like it almost is what I want,
Yeah.
but not quite. But I don't. It's not like I'm hurting for line of sight blockers on this map, so it's not going to bother me too much. Okay, nice. Okay, so I'm going to put on some glyphs, and let me see how many swamp water. I have some more swamp water, so I'm just going to stick that on the sides, because I'm going to add a glyph in that general area, and adding some swamp water just makes, even if I don't put the glyph on there, which I think I might, what the swamp water does is it just adds another path around the outside. So that's always helpful. So I want it to be at least 7 spaces away. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this would be 7. 1, 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 from the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's pretty good. But I'm actually going to bump it to here and here. Those are going to be my glyph spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll notice that it is 6 move flying on the right to the start zone. But sometimes you can't avoid that. And otherwise it's 7, 8 balanced. And 7 and 8 move are not the same, but if you don't have 7 move, then they are the same, right? Like 2 moves of 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get you there either way. So I like that. And at this point, I'm just going to click through and say, is there anything else that I don't have that I need? Ooh, you know what I could do? And this would make Doc mad, so maybe I'll do it.
Oh, sweet, do it.
Okay. Is he really doesn't like when there's 2 trees next to each other.
Oh, he doesn't?
It's his least favorite thing. It's just like my least favorite thing is 3 single outcrops or single glaciers next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I understand that sometimes it needs to be done, but in general, I it's not my favorite. Okay, so let's check out what we got now. Okay, um, that is indeed that's a map. Um,
Yeah.
is it my favorite map? No. Would I sit down at a tournament and play this? I think so. Um, cool. Let's see. Is there anything else? So let's mention what I didn't use: the tree and the two walls. And again, I don't have anything to mirror the tree with.
Hmm.
Right? I could have set up my map so that the tree's in the middle, but then I don't get to utilize all the road. So I figured that I would do it this way. I did not use all the swamp water. That's okay. Perhaps I'll add in 4 more swamp water on the bottom, but that's all good. I did not use almost any of the snow of the ice, but I'm. Oh, actually, this is not going to alter the gameplay at all. But I'm just going to slap some ice in there.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
It just okay. Now we're snowy in the middle, right?
Hmm.
Um, right. I could try to cover up all the swamp on level 2, like do all this. I don't think I'm going to. I think it's fine. Um, um, so I don't try to use all the swamp or all the. I'm sorry, the swamp water or all the ice. I think it's that important. And
Hmm.
then I left some rock on the table, um, and I like I like using rock, but I don't see a good use for that. So let me add in those last swamp water just to round out those sides. Now I have a lovely swamp water ring that goes start zone,
Beautiful.
and there it is, connected by a thread, hanging on by a thread. The newest frog map, and right there's things about it I don't love. I put in the 2 trees just to make Doc mad, and I don't. I still don't love
I
that.
mean, I love that it makes Doc mad,
But
but I can agree
yeah,
from a
that
map
was.
perspective.
Let's see if there was something I could do about that. What could I do about that? Um, and like, what could I do about that? 'Cause, yeah, I can't shift the 7 hex over there because that would run into the swamp 7 hex. Like, I can't go like that,
Right.
um, which might be nice. Um, yeah, sometimes you're just limited by what's there, and I think that's where I'm at. Okay, okay, we're gonna make Doc not mad again.
Man.
I don't feel like that was adding anything anything helpful. What I could do is actually split my start zones. But I don't think I will. I think this is fine. Okay, so if I just go ahead and try to run through my checklist of 10 tips not to make your maps not suck, we'll see if I've succeeded.
Sweet.
1, try to have the highest height at level 4. Check. Make at least 2 sections that are this height. So I got those 2 level 4s. And then it says try to make them both uh, accessible, like on the same turn. So if you're trying to attack those, you don't want to be like, you don't have to commit to one or the other. You want to be able to threaten them both at the same time. So they're close enough together. That works.
Hmm.
Okay, we got glyphs that are evenly spaced and they're next to height. So that's good. And not high height, just some, it's really actually just level 1, but that counts as height in this case. Okay, make sure there's good paths to attack the highest heights. So if I look at the map, and I wish there were better shadows, but like how would I get to the level 4s? Right? The road takes you directly to the level 4s, and you can get to the road pretty easily from anywhere in the start zone. And the road will take you to both level 4s. You can also get there um, by just running to the center. So I think that's relatively successful.
Hmm.
And we scatter some intermediate height that's one less than the max height. So I got all these level threes um, that are mostly towards the center of the map, but then right, I do have some that stick out to the periphery, which I think is important, just providing um, other options. Line of sight blockers, 3 spaces away from each other. So we got 2 spaces in between. We talked about that. All done. Jungle, shadow, not applicable. And then sensible start zones. I don't love these start zones, but you could sit down at this table and know what the start zones are.
Right.
It's the sand and the ice. There's no other level 1 ice. So, or level 0 ice. So it's like all of a particular thing. And then just as far as terrain colors go, um, right, like swamp is towards the edges, and then the road obviously snakes through, which it's just how it goes. And then we have the snow is always higher than anything else around it.
Hmm.
So I feel like aesthetically it's relatively sensible. So those are my 10 tips, and I feel like I hit them all. So that must mean that this is a map that doesn't suck. So there it is.
I would agree. I don't think that map sucks. I think it looks really, really cool.
Let me save this so that I can maybe make it better in the future.
Well, and I think
So we'll
that's a
save
big
it.
part of
So
it too that we can't quite show is like I do feel like I don't know, just the map creation process has a lot of tinkering to it, on and off.
yeah, yeah. What did we say this map was called? Something about a thread.
Yeah, connected by a thread or by a thread or the
Yeah,
thread
we'll
that
just call it
unites
by a thread.
us.
The tie that binds. Short and sweet. Oh man. Actually, I mean, now that I've just saved it, what I think I'm interested in doing is switching the single glaciers um, for the trees,
Oh,
and then putting the glaciers where the trees were, just like switching spots. And like, not that it's that important, but I feel like I want to do it. So, and I might regret this immediately.
maybe, but I think that
But
would look
that's
nice.
it. That's the thing about the yeah. It's mostly an aesthetic thing. That's the thing
Hmm.
about the glaciers is they in this case now they're not connected to anything, so they'll
That's
probably just
true.
get whacked off the table time and time again. But what are you gonna do? Sue Hasbro? Try.
Do it. So sue him for a game that's been dead 10 years.
So what I could do is add like another like the tree. No, I don't really have anything else. I could move the glaciers that I just moved back. I could move them adjacent to these 4 hex stuff in the
Hmm.
middle, but I don't think I'm hurting for that. So I think I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, there you go. Now buy a thread. There it is,
Beautiful.
and it's officially saved.
Save. That means it's there forever, folks.
That's
You'll-
right. Nothing you can do about it. And then usually at this point, I would, if I liked it enough, I would go ahead and uh, slap together a top down for online play, which would take me another 10 minutes. Um, yeah, I'm probably not going to do that right now, but that's always a good way for me to visualize it. Is just from the top, especially if you got those numbers done. Like
oh yeah.
where are the heights? I saw. Oh, I think it was Ulysses was making like heat maps of like from the topographical view.
Oh yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see. Can I? Okay, so my topographical view apparently is not working on this, which is fine. Um, but
Well, that's
it's
perfect for top
interesting
down.
where, yeah, it's not supposed to do that, and I can't zoom in on it,
Oh,
so whatever. Um, Oh, but that is interesting that it does. It doesn't have the fisheye, or the lens perspective issues that top downs have.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Anyway, what it does, uh, his like little heat maps or topographic heat maps were pretty cool. They were like showing, where do lots of maps have their height distributed, right? And it's usually in the middle, but um, just looking how it spreads out and where those like intermediate heights are is always fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now we got to spin.
Oh, I love the spin.
Yeah, and the spin. Right. Virtualscape is pretty great. You like this one? The
Oh, I
sea
love
building?
yeah.
Why not? I like how it pops on the start zones. Pop.
There they are.
There they are. Well, I think that's the map.
Sweet. Yeah, that's a good looking map. I like it, and I'm honestly really impressed with the speed with which you were able to put it together. I think it really flowed.
Well, it's usually faster if I don't have to explain what I'm
Right.
thinking about.
I don't know. I kind of
I
liked it.
think
I think
yesterday I was. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying you should make a TV show because just make the Super
The
Frog
Bob Ross
Ross.
of
Yeah, Super Frog Ross. Um, and I'd watch that. I'd watch that.
That's so funny. Yesterday I was prepping for this. I said so. I asked somebody to give me a terrain set, and I was given, let's see, swarm, road, lava, and jungle. So all of those, which was a lot.
Hmm.
And I made two different complete maps in 45 minutes. They were like completely different from each other. I didn't
Nice.
really like either of them, but yeah, neither of them were that good. But I think this is better than those ones. Good thing I practiced.
Yeah, it pays off. Pays off. And now you got your happy trees, happy glaciers, happy road.
And every 6X glacier needs a Morrow Hive friend.
It's
What Bob Ross would say. I'm
not
sure.
complete. Not complete without that giant lobster claw sticking up out.
That's right. Oh man.
But yeah, no, that's a good looking map. I'm excited to I'm excited to try it out myself. I think it'd be a lot of fun to get on the table, play some games on.
Well, I'll see if I can get up these build instructions and a high quality rendering of this map and a top down, just to see what I came up with. And who knows, it'll probably get some changes here and there, but this is really how I design my maps. It's how I designed Turmoil and Jabberwock, and I put together 6 maps for the ScapeCon map contest, and just all the same way. Open up Virtualscape, tinker, 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 and look at them later and say, hey, which one do I like the best?
Take some time, let it breathe a little bit, come back, be like, oh,
That's right.
that one's pretty good. Oh, that one needs some changes.
Yes, trust me, those happen too. So we'll see how this one might evolve later. But for an hour, I'm happy with it.
Oh yeah, for an hour's work, I think it looks great. Like I said, I'd play it, I'd try it out. I'd
Well,
even
there
dare
you
say I'd
go.
enjoy it.
No, oh no, that's that sounds like a threat.
It is, and I'm glad you took it that way. But yeah, thank you so much for walking us through this process, Superfrog. This is really exciting for me and really insightful. I really enjoyed getting this walkthrough.
Yeah, I'd be glad to see how get more insight into how anybody else puts their maps together, because I know there's lots of great map makers out there, and I'm sure that not everybody does it the same way I do. So if you have your own mind-blowing and groundbreaking ways to design maps, I'm sure both of us would love to hear about those. So
Oh yeah.
please share.
Yeah, definitely please share. I don't know. I just really enjoy maps, even like on a competitive level, like, you know, just figuring out like, you know, how the maps flow and they work and the balance and all that stuff. But even just like designing of maps and people's preferences and their methodology is just it's fascinating, because I don't know, to continue the Bob Ross metaphor a little bit. I mean, it's basically an art, and everybody does it a little bit differently, and I think that's really fun. So
Yeah, it is pretty fun. Yeah, I was thinking about making a quick change. I don't think I'm going to. It's too late now.
For now.
For now, that's right.
You
No
see a
promises
similar
about the future.
but somewhat different map in the future. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, thank you again. I'm also really glad that you had this idea to walk us through your process. I think it was a great idea. I'm sure the viewers will enjoy it. I know we've got a lot of map enthusiast viewers, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Before we sign off, Superfrog, do you have anything that you would like to share or leave with the viewers?
I often will post these random map drafts on the Heroscapers Discord. So if you're not on the Heroscapers Discord, you should go there, and then you can tell me how to make my maps better, because I will post all kinds of stuff there. So that you can't see anywhere else. Yeah, and if you like making maps, please share those. Get on Discord, get on Heroscapers. I love looking at other people's maps, and lots of people love interacting with maps. So whether you like playing customs or you don't like playing customs, everybody's got to play on a map. So that's the one thing that unites everybody.
Here you go.
Or divides everybody, right? Because you got one on one side and one on the other. But
there you go. The common thing that divides it. Exactly. And I do want to I'll throw in a link to the Discord as well, because if you're a map enthusiast and you want to get feedback on your maps, that Discord has great feedback. Posting on Heroscapers is great, but it's a little bit slower. You know, it's kind of an old site, and people don't post as quickly or as often as they do on Discord, where you can just throw in a map and get feedback real quick. So and you get a lot of eyes on them too there. So can't recommend that enough.
Yep.
So thank you again, Superfrog, for joining. Thank you, of course, viewers, for viewing as always. And please remember what a wonderful world it is that we live in. And this will be 10 points under and out.